Good morning. I'm coming from the industry, so from industry probably means have a slightly different focus compared with academics, although I started my early career as academic, have been in industry almost 20 years now. I want to start with adding a little comments to Phil's talk and Kenny's talk about why to standardize the cryptography. From my point of view, it's similar like an architecture. If you design a building, if you feel this is a wonderful designing and it's elegant, and you don't want your design stay with a bunch of beautiful pictures. You want the design to be built, you want people use it, you want to, as many people as possible, be able to benefit from it. It's same as a cryptographer. So here is an example from my own experience. Quite often I need to talk to either HP worldwide the colleagues from divisions or from the industry standard body like Chesley Computing Group. And if I start to talk to them, say that, oh, I'm introduce some new crypto functions, and they will probably ask quite often, say, do you have a security proof? Is this safe? They actually know security proof is important and say, yeah, we do have security proof. It's reduced to certain hard problems. No, hard problem is not their interest. But then they will ask whether this algorithms actually is standardized. If I have one of those two the answers, if I say that yes, it has been specified by ISO IEC or the who and who, IETF, they will be happy. They say, thank you very much. But if I say, oh, well, not actually, the paper was published in a decent conference or journals or whatever, they will say, interesting, thank you very much. Is the same kind of thank you very much? No, probably not. So standard does help them to make a quick decision, to make them feel that was a safe decision to use it, to use the crypto algorithms. And I was asked by Pascal to talk about ISO IEC. This is ISO IEC JTC1 SC27. So JTC1 is ISO IEC joined the committee to deal with information technology, and SC27 is a subcommittee to do about IT security. So I have been involved in this organization for 16 years now. SC27 has 5 working groups. So I have been sitting in working group 2 only. That is about cryptography and security mechanisms. This working group has specified or developed many ISO IEC crypto standards. So here is a list about those standards. From the list, you can probably see the coverage is quite broad, from traditional cryptography like signatures, encryptions, hash function, MAC function, entity authentication, to those functions we today call the high function, such as secret sharing, anonymous signatures, anonymous entity authentications, crypto, and lightweight stuff. And also, we do touch something only recently became popular. One example is encryption. We have identity-based encryption and also homomorphic encryption. Pascal is the one to leading the homomorphic encryption. He serves as the editor for this document. For any project leading to the ISO IEC standard, have a lot of stages. Start from the preparation, like preliminary, which is a committee or subcommittee's plan. We have business plan, like an industry. And if we think one area is worth to go forward, start with a study period. One recently established study period, like every talk so far touched it, is quantum resistant cryptography. And the study period is leading by Lily, and I'm sure she's going to touch it when she gives a talk this afternoon. And also, for this study period, we have a research liaison member, is a PQ crypto. I'm sure Tanya will talk about later. Yeah, so I just mentioned that, not to go into the details. For the project stages, because that is ISO IEC is the international standard, the member of ISO IEC are national bodies, not individual experts, not individual companies. They are the other different standard bodies. The member is experts like IEEE, and the industry standard body like the Chester Computing Group. I will talk a bit more later. The members are companies. So the member, different type, means who is going to make a decision. So ISO IEC, the vote ballot will be made by national bodies. No matter how big the country is, how small they are, every country has one vote. So if it's industry member, then every company have a vote like TCG or IEEE, then as long as you attend the meeting longer enough as an expert, you have votes. Okay, so that's different for different organizations of standard bodies. For ISO IEC, the journey to create one standard is quite long, probably longer than IETF. Kenny mentioned 6 months to 1 year, you're probably getting the result. But for ISO IEC, it takes, they say the average is 2.8 years, but from my experience, I have been edited for 6 ISO IEC standard documents. It all takes longer than 3 years. Now, I would like to more focus on the security, the trust issues, which I feel quite fascinating to me and interesting. There are a lot of trusted issues for standard, like a quality of standard, there's some attack to be found it, but for ISO IEC, maybe many other standards as well, it seems the biggest issues is about government's involvement. Government has interest to be involved in the standard because it's probably can promote their country, or it's probably can show their power. I don't know what exactly mean. If the algorithm, crypto algorithms, to be specified by ISO IEC, for example, then it could be listed in the WTO. Then the economics will get benefit from that. But recently, we all know because Snowden's revelations, and it damaged the reputation of standard bodies. The dodgy algorithms mentioned by Phil is also in NIST standard, ISO standard, although both NIST and ISO take very quick action to correct it, to remove it from the standard and say it's not valid. But even so, the reputation damage is already made, and probably that will be affected for a long time. Recently, there is an example. We are busy for this, and this make the ISO IEC and the Maker SC27's meeting more interesting. Yeah, Pascal nod, and he agreed with me, and I'm sure Marco and Lily and Daniel will probably share the same view, and Daniel. A little bit of history. NIST very interestingly submitted their lightweight block cipher, Simon and Speck, to ISO. That was in autumn 2014. And immediately we started a study period as usual. And after 6 months, we couldn't make decision whether go forward to adopt those two algorithms or we simply reject the submission, because the debate was quite heavy and interesting, but no decision can be made. So the study period carried on for another 6 months. And a year later, after 6 months, then we didn't make a decision to accept those two algorithms to start the amendment working draft. Seems like that is the end of story, but actually not. The debate was carried on, and a few weeks ago, in the recent SC27 meetings, we still debate whether we should let the NSA algorithm in or out. Simply, it's because some people don't trust NSA and think they may have the dark purpose, want to let IEC adopt their algorithm, let the whole world use it. So that kind of trust issues could be carried on. I think certainly for this project, we will still have a lot of debates going on. In order to introduce about how industry reflected, or how industry actions to those trust issues and standard issues, I like to mention the Trusted Computing Group. Trusted Computing Group is an industry standard body. It developed a little chip called the Trusted Platform Module, TPM. I'm sure many of your computers, including this chip, and as the owner of this computer, you may or may not notice that. I was told by TCG only a couple of days ago about 1 billion TPMs have already been embedded in the computers. So most of our computers already have TPM. TPM is a crypto engine. That's why we are interested. And the early version, TPM 1.2, which was released in 2003, adopted by ISO IEC in 2010, and the more recent version, TPM 2.0, has been adopted by ISO IEC as well as 11889 2015. TPM is not just a chip sitting in the computer and has been used by many applications. At least I know Microsoft Windows 10 use it for the security. To deal with trust issue means choose the right algorithms. TPM 1.2 only have very few algorithms like ISA, SHA-1, HMAC, not even AES. But quickly after it's released, we face two bigger reasons. One is thanks to the Xiaoyun Wang and her team and many other researchers broken the SHA-1 or make a serious attack to SHA-1, so face to change. The other one is about moving from ISA to ECC. At that time, it seems direction to go, a necessary direction to go, although probably today people don't have to believe that. What is TCG's reaction for this? SHA-1 is broken, ISA is not trusted by many places, like China. China never liked ISA, they don't want to use ISA in China, and if TPM only has ISA, China doesn't want to adopt it. So, the changing could be quite tricky, what kind of algorithm you want to choose. Countries do not naturally trust to each other. They don't like to use someone else's algorithms. TCG made a clever decision from my point of view. They introduce algorithms agility. So that means a TPM can have a different algorithms dependent on when TPM is going to shipping. So if TPM is going to shipping to China, it will use Chinese algorithms, SM2, 3, and 4. If TPM is going to shipping to Russia, that will use Russia algorithms, Ghost, and if it's used in American, then can use the ECDSA or yeah. So algorithm agility is one bigger reaction from industry to address trusted issues. Although we have to take care about legacy applications, like a bank is negotiated with TCG. They want to TPM support triple DES, and the discussion is still ongoing. To surprise you, I was learned from my colleague, and some bank applications still using single DES. They don't want this to be changed for the purely economy reasons. Before finishing my talk, I want to have one advertisement about a conference. Because all those informations I mentioned before and the whole workshop today tell us we need security standardization research. We need crypto standardization research. So a couple of years ago, we initiated a conference, an international conference called SSR. This year, the conference will be organized by NIST. So Lily will be the general chair, and she got the full set of information for us. I hope anybody, if you are interested about research in this area, think about to publish your papers in the conference. Okay, so I'm now going to finish my talk. To finish my talk, I want to share Kenny's view mentioned in your abstract. We all think about standardization is a bridge between theory and practice, particularly for crypto, because crypto is quite complicated and designed by cryptographer, developed, implemented by engineers. So between the cryptographers and the engineers, there is a big gap, and we need to have a mutual understanding. We need to learn to each other, teach each other, and we need to work together. Standard play the role as a bridge between those two. I'm sure the Chester issue will continue and will probably be there for forever, or maybe never say forever, but it will be a long time. But standard will continue to play its role, to play its important role in crypto research. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Liqun. Are there any questions? Yes. Okay.
Isn't it conflicting on the one hand to ask for feedback as an ISO representative, and on the other hand to have people pay for your drafts?
Yeah, that's
I mean, for universities, that's really quite expensive, and you need funding for this.
Yeah, that's very, very unfortunate. ISO IEC standard is not free, and but it's beyond our control, beyond our working group's control, beyond our as developers' control. But if you need some specific ISO IEC standard, if those crypto standards are developed by our group, just give me an email, I send you a copy. That's I cannot send you published standard, I'm not allowed, but I can send you a committee member's copy, which should do your work.
Hi, my name is Huda. I have just a few comments based on the different conversations we had this day, this beautiful day. It seems to me that although the standardization is a bridge between academy and industry, we're still having a huge gap between what we're doing in the academy and what's actually deployed in the industry and how it's deployed. Maybe one of the solutions would be to include more active results from the academy and consider them when you put this kind of standardization and when you pick certain standards. Because, for example, Simon and Speck were two main block ciphers suggested by NSA, sorry. And since day one, in the cryptographic community, we have been publishing cryptanalytic results to question the security level of these two ciphers. Okay. When decision is made, I think, on the standardization body, I think it's one of the most important parameters. You consider the security, of course. But now, fast forward from 2013 to 2016, you read papers that says, Simon is a replacement for AES on a hardware level because it's compact and it's lightweight and it's better in gate equivalence than AES. And as a person who contributed with different teams to present cryptanalytic results against Simon and Speck, you would think what we were doing, we're trying to tell the community, please don't look only on like efficiency level, but look also on the security level. And cryptanalytic results, they matter. And you should, you should consider, I don't know, maybe bridging means bringing more people, more results from the academy into the industry. We have a lot of work groups in the industry and they don't care, as you have said. They care about having a standard and employing it. One of the things, like the European Union is initiated in December, a new framework. They're looking for a new framework that will be used in aerospace industry. And they have initiated a task force. And of course, I think they're looking for standards that they can put into like drones and everything else. But we have a lot, the cryptographic community suggested a lot of lightweight standards, and they should be used instead of put around, just in the corner. But I don't know, maybe actively participating means that we have to have an active connection to the industry. An active connection means something beyond maybe working only on standards, because as you have said, when you put DS as a standard, then some banks will still in 2016 will not let it go because it's a standard and they trusted the standard at one point.
Yeah, I think you made a number of very good points. Yeah, we do need work together, the standard bodies, academics, and the users, industries. And you mentioned to increase the resources for doing standard research. That's definitely true and very important, like Kenny mentioned, but it's very hard to achieve because there are many reasons why we cannot increase resources, or we can only have the volunteer people. We cannot actually have financial encouragement. You mentioned the Simon Speck, evaluation. There are a lot of evaluations for Simon Speck and enormous papers, more than probably any other the crypto algorithms. Not only just because this is from NSA, it's also because they are quite interesting algorithms. Yeah, many as the points you mentioned are interesting and important. Thank you.
I think we can, at some point this afternoon, we'll have a panel discussion. I think this is typically the kind of issues we would like to address here today. So you're very welcome to interact with us.
We have somebody cannot wait to
yes,
ask
please go.
So first of all, answering your comment about Simon, none of the papers about Simon or Speck security came from the designers. All the claims, there were never claim of security by the designers besides the fact that it's secure. Take it or leave it. So saying that if you look at AES competition or the CSR competition or the SHA-3 competition or any other way we do cryptographic standards, usually the designer put in some rationale, the reason to decide various constants, various things. It does not appear in Simon and Speck. In Dagstuhl this January, there was a meeting of the symmetric cryptography community, and there was a very strong voice against actually the way Simon and Speck were standardized, because there is no design rationale. We cannot check the constants, we cannot check anything about what happened there. So actually the crypto community is quite against that, and there was actually a discussion whether we should withdraw all the 40 papers on the analysis of Simon and Speck to actually make the claim that there were 40 papers analyzing Simon and Speck, which was what the standardization bodies were using to make this claim void. So just to put the context of how parts of the cryptographic community feel about Simon and Speck. My question is actually about, given the fact that we know that some standardization bodies are supported at the back by intelligence agencies, which they have first of all a different mission, like the NSA and the dual EC case, and they actually threaten students who submit comments to the standardization meetings. For example, the case of the Belgian representative in Jaipur meeting. We're not getting into all the details. Come and ask me afterwards. Given the fact that the NSA actually is putting a lot of effort using other means, what are the procedures that ISO is considering to actually prevent this unfair involvement of bodies like the NSA via the US representative to ISO on the process? Because the process is biased, and the NSA was caught red-handed, and it seems like the processes that ISO currently have do not answer these issues. So what is the plan to handle these sort of things?
Okay, that's such a very tricky part of the SC27's work and the NSA's involvement or something. I think probably you all know the NSA designers. They put their paper in ePrint in 2013. That's true, they didn't submit their paper to any reviewed conference or journals. And after their paper is available in the ePrint, then a lot of review papers appeared, and many review papers published in reviewed conferences and in many decent conferences. As you mentioned, the number is large. So from ISO, IEC, actually, I cannot speak too broad, just SC27 Working Group 2. From our point of view, e-print is a public domain. So we not request the paper has to be published in Crypto, Eurocrypto, or CCS, or the conferences with review. And also we did take a look about the attack papers and the review papers. We also consulted to many experts in these areas, including like Professor Xiaoying Wang and many other researchers. I cannot list their name because they're too long. And they did try to attack. Xiaoying told me their team tried their best to attack those two algorithms, but they couldn't actually make a serious attack because from her research point of view, those two algorithms did provide the target or what they aim to. So that was the base about why the working group allowed these two algorithms submission carry on. And also, because all the submissions to ISO IEC are from national bodies, we cannot count this is from NSA. We can only count it's from US national body. So US national body is just one of the member. They are equally the same as any other member, like China, South Africa, and Belgium, Germany. Yeah.
And you have to deal with the KGB approach to how to deal with descendants. This is not a very even playing ground. I mean, you can see how this is heading. If a Chinese cryptographer would break an American standard, it's one thing. If a Belgian cryptographer is threatened by the NSA, if he will submit his comments to the NSA, to the ISO working group, he will be discredited. All his work will be discredited. And you cannot claim that this is one-to-one. And if the fact that the US representative was caught red-handed at the end, it's the US that was caught red-handed, there is actually good reason to say USA cannot submit standards for the next 5 years until we reestablish trust.
Okay.
You're also of red-handed, so there should be some penalty for countries as part of rebuilding the trust with the community. And the statement that
Yeah.
it's one country, no, it's not the NSA, it's the US.
No, actually, many countries, they don't trust other countries' algorithms. That's entirely true. I'm not joking, this is entirely true. For example, like digital signatures for ISO IEC 14888 part 3, and we have an enormous number of digital signatures from USA to start with, and then later on say, no, many countries don't want to use theirs. So we then add French, German, and Korea, Russia, recently China. So we have many countries' signature schemes. They want to use their own signature schemes. The same as encryption, block ciphers, people can use their own. But although probably many other countries, they don't care, they just pick up the one ISO standard.
Why don't we speak about a solution? Since we just realized that this way of standardization maybe has opened the door for someone to push for fake level of a trust to the world, maybe it will be good to have a public voting system or partially public. You have a certain committee.
There is a vote. IEC, every stage we have vote. The decision about to let those two algorithms in, there was a vote. Is a vote.
No, but what about having a transparency to the public domain, to people who work on the cryptographic community, so they can maybe vote in percentage or something like this. I know that you have your own committee and you pick your own committee
That's
carefully.
very unfortunate because ISO IEC, the member is national bodies. Only national bodies are allowed to vote. Any expert can join your national body coming for vote, like a Belgian. Your expert voted for your country and Germany as well. Yeah.
Okay, I have a question. Is it mandatory for any kind of standard that you will be submitted to ISO, I don't know about this, to be pre-published somewhere else in the domain?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay,
you
then
can publish anything, of
then
course.
clearly I think that I'm sorry to go back for the case of Simon and Speck, they used the sphere of ePrint on ISER to just have this prerequisites checked because they did not submit, as it has been explained earlier, they did not submit any security rationale within their design, even if it was submitted. There was no security rationale because with every kind of cryptographic design, you have to submit your design and your security rationale, and this is what everyone here in the room as a cryptographer will do. So do you take this into consideration that maybe even if it was publicly there, then something is missing from this kind of document?
They made their decision where they're going to publish their paper. That's true. That's their decision. And it's not quite usual to put it in ePrint, then not publish it to anywhere else. But that was their decision. But as I mentioned, and everybody probably knows, is there are a lot of papers to analyze those two algorithms published in decent place.
Okay, so I suggest that...
We will never get to the conclusion here, but it's an interesting discussion.
No, but again, there will be a panel discussion this afternoon where the floor will be open to everyone for these issues to be discussed, and I think there might be a lot of comments about these issues at this moment. What we'll do with the program right now is that we had a video from Steve Babbage from the ETSI SAGE group, but it's lunchtime, so instead we're going to have some lunch first, and then we'll resume according to the schedule. But if you have some dessert at some point, we will display the video here before we resume, so like 25 minutes before. So if you want to, so that you guys can have a chance to come here with your dessert or whatever and you know, watch the video. If you don't have time or if you don't want to do that, you're free to do whatever you want. Okay, so thanks again, Liqun. And and we're very happy to see that there are a lot of discussions already going on. So have a nice lunch, and we resume at 1:30.